Now, I want to tell you that we rejoice at the prospect of the hostages being freed and the long-awaited return of peace in this troubled region. Amen. You know, for the past 2 years, I know that many of you have been praying day after day for this moment to come. And very soon, Hamas is expected to release 48 hostages, only 20 of whom are still alive. While Israel will release 1,950 prisoners in return. The numbers do not seem to add up, right? They don't seem fair, but then again, with Israel, they rarely do, right? Some religious groups have described this as a great miracle, admitting that they never imagined such a deal could be reached, a sentiment echoed by Aryeh Deri, the Shah's chairman, who had dismissed earlier proposals as unrealistic. Yet the agreement came together with remarkable speed. We noticed this last week. Just last week, in fact, we saw how quickly nations around the world, including the Arab states and members of the European Union, rallied behind it. Donald Trump, the architect of this peace agreement, announced on Wednesday that this moment marks, and he said it again, the first step toward a strong, durable, and again he said it, everlasting peace. He even referenced that is to biblical terms, quoting Jesus when he said, "Blessed are the peacemaker." Trump is scheduled to fly to Israel on Sunday, and the hostages are expected to be released on Monday. But again, we ask the question, will this peace truly be everlasting? According to biblical prophecies, the answer is no, not yet. Not yet. This current peace agreement, one more time, could very well be the first step towards the false covenant foretold by the prophet Daniel, the very treaty that will signal the beginning of the 7-year tribulation. But what makes this particular moment stand out from all previous peace efforts is not just how quickly it was achieved, but also the unprecedented involvement of all the nations. Many countries have openly stated their intention to send troops to help monitor and enforce the agreement. Last Thursday, the United States took the lead by announcing the deployment of 200 troops to Israel, which began to arrive actually this morning. Reports indicate that they will not enter Gaza, but they will be stationed inside the land of Israel, and this number is only the start. Additionally, media reports last Thursday, they stated that other countries voiced their desire to send troops in the area. Countries like Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. These troops will form, they say, a multinational military oversight team under what they are calling an International Board of Peace to be chaired by Donald Trump himself. Now, all of this raises the question one more time. What are the nations doing in the land of Israel, and why are they trying to shape its future? The scriptures tells us that a day will come when all the nations will gather against Israel. We've seen this passage already. See, they will send their armies into the land. They will ultimately converge in the north, in the valley of Armageddon, and as described by John in the book of Revelation, and surround Jerusalem itself, as foretold by Zechariah the prophet and Jesus himself in the book of Luke. Could it be that we are witnessing the early stages of this prophecy unfolding slowly but surely before our eyes? It appears that with this peace deal, we are entering a new turning point in the Middle East history. Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran, once fierce aggressors, have been militarily neutralized, at least for now. They haven't vanished. For prophecy still foretells conflicts and upheaval arising from their lands. But for now, there's an unusual quiet. Where all this would lead in the immediate future, it remains uncertain. Yet one thing, I want to tell you, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. As events accelerate, doors of opportunities are opening wide doors for us to proclaim the name of the Lord and bear witness of his unchanging promises. They are opening right now. Amen? You know, on Thursday night, in the middle of the night, you know, my phone began beeping nonstop. A dear friend from California was sending me a stream of messages, 13 pictures, one after the other, as he joyfully shared that 25 people had received the Lord that very night. He couldn't believe it. Amen. And the next morning, he sent me another 19 pictures. Truly, I want to tell you, this is a miracle. And we are witnessing the ripple effects of that same Spirit of God here in Montreal, where many Jewish people are becoming more open to conversations about Yeshua, even welcoming the New Testament into their homes. We see it. You know, for instance, just to give you some statistics, from August to today, the teams gave out 78 sets of Hebrew scriptures, and Brit Hadasha, along with 23 Hebrew scriptures, 10 New Testament, and 15 Bibles, all in all 126 Bibles. And they also engaged in many conversations and handed out pamphlets. Additionally, they had 4 prayers of salvation right there on the sidewalks. Yeah, that's beautiful. You know, in the midst of wars and the constant echo of conflict, countless hearts are awakening today, searching desperately for the God who alone can bring peace. As for the recent development in the Middle East, our question today is, what does the Lord think of all these nations trying to decide the fate of Israel? This is the very subject of our study today in the book of Joel, a very powerful text for us, and the prophet has so much to tell us.